And we are live. Hello, everyone out there. Welcome to New Ambassadors Theater Lab 51. My name is David Adam Gill, the artistic director. We have an incredible night scheduled for you, for wonderful playwrights, a lot of excellent actors, and a hostess with the mostest, Jennifer Downs. I'm going to throw it off to her, and she's going to lead you on the journey.
The lovely Jennifer Downs.
Thank you. Thank you, David. Thank you, Ben. If you are joining us for the first time, this is our lab reading series where we read works in process. This is very much largely for the writers to hear their words out loud, pieces that they are in the process of writing and could use hearing the words read by these incredible, lovely, fabulous actors and just getting some first feedback. So we are New Ambassadors Theater Company. We are a 501c3 company, which means that if you like us and you would like to donate to support our season, you can always do that, and you can write that off on your taxes and do all those lovely things. You would right now be supporting our efforts to come back in person next year, which we are very much looking forward to.
It's going to be a new wave of life.
New, improved, and in person. I don't know what we've improved, but we're in person. But we are very much looking forward to that. So anything you donate, of course, goes straight to that, straight to paying these incredible artists who worked with us. Tonight, we are going to be reading 4 pieces. The process is we're going to read them live. Then we are all going to share in this Zoom room. We're going to be sharing our feedback with the playwrights. We'll be going through a process of that kind of feedback so we can make sure it's the most helpful, depending on whether the playwrights have a specific question or anything like that. And you on the YouTube side can give feedback as well. You can do that via the Google link, which should be now in the chat or in the video description. And again, it's so vital for the writers to be getting this feedback, especially in these early stages of writing. So we super appreciate you being in the audience and you, friends, in the Zoom room with us for being there for them and really boosting them in this very difficult, sometimes very lonely process of writing. And with that, I think we're ready to go. Fabulous. All right, so our first piece is the Book of Jericho by the exceptional David Michael Kirby. I will let you take it away.
All right, so this is the third scene that I've presented here on the New Ambassadors Lab. Daniel, you can come on up. So this is scene 3. I am tiptoeing as I create this thing, but it's been really interesting because I just keep discovering more and more. The first scene was when our characters tonight, JJ, played by Connor Osman, sorry Connor, and Mac by Daniel Hidalgo. The first scene is when they met, and it's in the aftermath and the civil unrest in Minneapolis after the George Floyd murder. And they met in a holding cell after a night of rioting, and they were if you judge a book by its cover, they were opposites. One is in QAnon fur and Trump regalia, and the other one was wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. I'll let you look at these two and figure out who was who. And it ends up being a kind of a meet cute scene where they talk to each other and they find this chemistry and this connection. It's kind of comical with the choreography and their zip ties, but they end up having their first kiss. And then JJ's father walks in off stage and sees them and just explodes. Scene 2 is at JJ's parents' house. His mother's downstairs preparing the food. The dad comes downstairs and she thinks it's the son and asks if she can make him breakfast. When she realizes who it is, her whole demeanor changes and they have a serious conversation throughout, which turns into a fight that he strikes her at one point, and after he leaves, she is on the phone figuring out how to file a restraining order. During that scene, there's a voicemail that JJ leaves because he is not at home, and they're trying to figure out where he is. And this scene overlaps with that, so you will hear the end of the voicemail message that JJ leaves for his mom. And you'll see this is all taking place at Mac's place. So without further ado, Maria Elena O'Brien is doing my stage directions, and I will let you all hear scene 3. Thanks. I have no real questions. Just listen and give me, I'm looking for first impressions. Any thoughts on it? Thanks.
The Book of Jericho by David Michael Kirby. Scene 3. 9:45 a.m., late May, early June 2020, overlapping the end of scene 2. Minneapolis, Minnesota, McHenry family home. Mac's bedroom. Bathroom just off stage. Lights up. JJ Novak, wearing boxers and a t-shirt, is pacing back and forth, speaking into an iPhone. Mac is in bed, shirtless, observing, fascinated.
Okay, guess I'll try later. I'm all right, I promise. Better than all right, actually.
JJ gives Mac a big smile. Mac returns it in equal measure.
Better than I've been in a long time. I love you. I love you so much.
JJ hangs up the phone and hands it back to Mac.
That was nice.
What?
That, letting your mom know you're okay or better than okay.
Well, I don't want her to worry.
Of course not.
Okay then.
It's just,
What?
give me a sec. I'm trying to find the words. It was as if
It was nice. You said.
it's like I saw you just now for the first time.
You saw me for the first time last night. This morning. I mean, God, not even 8 hours ago.
Mac jumps out of bed quickly, gives JJ a quick, passionate kiss, then hops right back in bed as he was. JJ is stunned into sheepish silence.
Knew that'd shut you up. Now, will you let me talk, please?
JJ makes a gesture indicating Mac has the floor.
Thank you. All I'm saying, badly, is that seeing you stand there in the morning sun, telling your mom not to worry and you love her, I don't think you know how rare that is.
Don't you love your mom?
Of course I love my mother, but not every family says the words. Some families say it by rote. But just now, no one could doubt the heart behind your words, telling your mom not to worry. It's more than that, though.
What? Seeing me for the first time?
Yes, damn it. In a way, by the light of day, not wearing that ridiculous costume, not scared and miserable, but just completely yourself. An honest moment, comfortable in your own skin.
Feeling more uncomfortable by the second.
Well, what are you doing all the way over there? Come back to bed.
JJ obeys, quick and shy, snuggling into Mac's open arms as if it's the most natural thing in the world.
I could get used to this.
I want you to get used to this. Comfy?
Mm-hmm.
Good, because I want you to hear what I've got to say, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been camping? Not like a campground, I mean, but like out in the wilderness somewhere.
A couple of times when I was young.
Dude, you're young now.
JJ punches Mac playfully.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean. I love camping. It grounds me, no pun intended. What I mean is, I guess I feel like most me when I'm sleeping under the sky. This one time I got up to pee. It was so dark and I couldn't see my hand in front of my face, but then I realized I sort of could, you know? I looked up and saw the clouds clearing and the stars revealed like millions of diamonds. It was as if I was seeing the night sky for the first time ever. I literally gasped. My hair standing on end just thinking about it. Well, see?
Mac takes JJ's hand, rubs it over his forearm.
Goosebumps. It was a thrilling moment. A slap to my soul by the cosmos. Suddenly realizing that I'm connected to something greater than myself. A true eureka moment.
Mac is lost in his reverie. JJ isn't quite sure how to respond. After a long, long beat.
Huh.
Mac shakes himself out of the memory, gives JJ a playful push.
What do you mean, huh? Don't you get it?
JJ thinks very hard, then shrugs his shoulders.
I guess I don't.
Mac squeezes JJ more tightly. JJ lets him. They both stare out, enjoying this closeness.
What I'm trying to say, is that you made me feel this way. Talking to your mom, an unexpected thrill of recognizing someone who is at once part of you and also part of something much greater. Cosmic, even. Unexpected, but not unwelcome.
JJ twists to look at Mac's face.
You're serious.
As a heart attack.
Wow.
JJ snuggles back into Mac.
I don't want to scare you. I'm putting all my cards on the table. I know we've only known each other a few hours, but in a way, somehow it feels like I've known you forever. Like I've just been waiting for you to show up, but I had no idea until the wee hours of the morning.
Oof, speaking of we,
JJ scrambles out of bed.
I gotta take a whiz. Sorry.
JJ quickly crosses the room to the bathroom. Mac in his boxer briefs gets out of bed and leisurely follows JJ to the bathroom door, standing just outside.
I did scare you, didn't I?
Sound of JJ beginning to urinate emanates from the bathroom.
What? Hang on a sec. I can't hear you.
Sound of JJ finishing up, toilet flushing, then JJ washing his hands. Mac waits out the door, silently kicking himself for revealing too much too soon. Mac is deflated and dejected. JJ enters the room, wiping his damp hands on his shirt.
Sorry, couldn't hear a word what you were saying.
JJ realizes Mac's demeanor has changed.
Hey. Hey, what's wrong? What is it? Mac?
I scared you, didn't I?
What? No way. Not at all.
No?
Well, maybe a little. Honestly, I'm not sure what I'm feeling right now, but
I know. Look, I'm sorry I overwhelmed you. I see that now. Usually I write what I'm feeling, like journaling, but saying it out loud and in real time, it's harder than you think.
let me finish, please. I don't know what I'm feeling right now, but I am sure of one thing.
What's that?
You.
You mean that?
JJ takes Mac by the hand and leads him back to the bed. They sit side by side at the edge, still holding hands.
Yeah, I mean that. I hadn't realized my life was such a struggle lately. It was just my life. Mac, when I met you hours ago, you brought me to a place of calm I forgot even existed. I feel completely safe with you.
You mean that?
I do.
JJ and Mac stare into one another's eyes for a long, long beat. Then Mac hops up and makes a beeline across the room, calling over his shoulder as he disappears into the bathroom.
Damn, hold that thought. I gotta take a leak and brush my teeth.
JJ lies down on the bed, hugging a pillow, kicking his feet, overjoyed. Mac sticks his head out of the bathroom door.
Not at the same time, of course.
Mac disappears into the bathroom once more. JJ gets out of bed and looks around Mac's room. It's filled with typical male bric-a-brac, trophies, certificates, a couple of diplomas and photos. One particular photo catches JJ's eye and he picks it up off the dresser. He's studying it when Mac enters the room, crossing over to JJ and hugging him from behind, kissing JJ on the ear.
Snooping around.
Trying to get to know you, I guess. Who's this?
Brian. Back when we were in Little League. He was my best friend. And my first kiss.
Was?
Yeah, he died. A few months after this picture was taken, actually. It was my favorite of the two of us.
I'm sorry.
You'd have liked him. Hell, everyone liked Brian. What no one could figure out was why he liked me, including me.
I can't imagine anyone not liking you.
Well, people didn't dislike me exactly, but there was just nothing really special about me to make me stand out or be popular.
We don't have to talk about this if you don't want to.
It's okay. You want to get to know me, don't you?
You know I do.
Okay then, let's get comfortable.
Mac and JJ get back into Mac's bed, Mac holding the photo like a religious icon, Jay next to him with his hand on Mac's arm.
I basically knew Brian his whole life. Nursery, kindergarten, elementary school to junior high. But we didn't really become friends until 4th grade. I was always kind of a loner, but Brian sought me out and became my friend. He made a point of including me. I would have never joined Little League if not for him. Did you do any sports growing up?
Dad made me play a couple seasons of Pee Wee football. I hated every second of it. Mom finally convinced him to let me quit.
Yeah, I can imagine. Brian made Little League fun. I actually enjoyed myself. Still surprising to me, but then Brian got sick. It was weird. I don't remember him ever even catching a cold the whole time we grew up together, but then he started missing games and then school. Whenever I went to visit him, his mom always said he was resting, but the last time I saw him, he heard me at the door and yelled for me to come see him. And this was right before he went to the hospital.
I'm so sorry. That's horrible.
Yeah, it was. It was. But it's what happened during that last visit that changed my life.
You don't have to talk about it. I mean, if it's too painful.
No, painful, sure, but the pain is the smallest part of the story. And to know me is to know this. Brian sent his mom out of the room, asked for some privacy. The way he asked seemed odd, but it was Brian, so I didn't really give it a second thought. She leaves. He pats the side of the bed, and I sit beside him, shocked at how frail he looked, almost like a ghost. And then, I'll never forget it, he gives me this conspiratorial smile, and suddenly it's just Brian. I don't see his illness, only the spirit of the kid that I suddenly realized I've come to love and whose days are numbered. I've got a secret, he says, and I'm only going to tell it to you, but you have to come close. So I lean in, waiting for his whisper. I'm suddenly aware of his breath on my face. It's like warm and it tickles. I find that I like it. I'm still waiting for the whisper, but he doesn't say anything. So I turn my head to look at him and he kisses me on my mouth. He's the one dying, but my heart stopped. I sat up, frozen with all the feelings, just stunned, you know? I looked at Brian and I feel my face blushing. And Brian just smiles and says, "Do you know how long I wanted to do that?" And after a few croaking, comical starts, I found my voice and said, "Brian, I had no idea." And he said, "Better late than never. Never's a long time, you know, and it's almost here." I had no response, but he went on and said, "You're my best friend, Mac. I don't know how long I've loved you, but it's definitely most of my life. And getting sick made me see it, and I needed to make you see it too. I know you love me. Life is shorter than you think, even if you're not dying of leukemia." That's when I started choking up, but he stopped me and said, "I'm still here. You can cry when I'm gone." I wiped my eyes and really looked at him then. I didn't want to forget a moment. I told him that that was my first kiss, and he laughed and said it was his too, then grew serious and asked if he could give me my last kiss, his last kiss. So I did. Time stopped. Then his mom walked in and without a word, grabbed my ear, escorted me down the stairs and pushed me out the door. I never saw Brian again, or his family. He died a few weeks later. He was only 15.
Mac falls quiet at the memory of Brian, then looks at the photograph and smiles. JJ, still holding Mac's arm, sits in respectful silence for a time. Then,
You didn't.
Didn't what?
You didn't forget a moment. You said you didn't want to forget a moment, and you didn't.
No, I didn't. I don't think anyone forgets their first kiss. Do you?
Mac gives JJ a wink and with a sideways hug, kissing him on the forehead.
Anyways, that's when I started journaling. I had a lot to process, you can imagine.
I don't have to imagine. You are a great storyteller. I wish I had a way with words like that.
You have other gifts, I'm sure of it. Maybe with words too, who knows?
Who knows?
Those scant minutes with Brian continue to resonate in my life. This photo reminds me that time may be eternal, but our experience in time isn't. And any dishonesty in our experience is a waste of something already in limited supply.
Wow. Are you sure you're only 22?
In this life, anyway. Penny, for your thoughts?
I don't want to waste any more time. You remember when we got here and you wanted to,
Yes.
do you want to now?
Why do you think I brushed my teeth?
Oh,
Mac kisses JJ on the mouth, slow and gentle, then gets up to return to the photo to its position of honor on the dresser. Mac kisses his fingers and touches the photograph, then gets back into bed, rolling JJ into his arms and kissing him again as the lights fade to black. Blackout.
Great work, you two. Thank you so, so much.
Yeah, that was lovely. Thank you so much, actors. David, I know you said you didn't have any specific questions, so I'll just start going through our sort of standard feedback. Actors or anyone who's in the Zoom room with us, if you can and want to come back on video to help us with this feedback, we very much appreciate it. And on the YouTube side, you should have the link. Again, we very much appreciate feedback in these sessions. So I'll start with, as we always start with, popcorn moments. So these can be little moments, big moments, things that grabbed your attention and were very compelling, images that stayed in your mind, anything like that. Mandy.
The kissing of the photo before he crawled into bed. And the language, the very DMK language around time and losing it right there at the end that I'm gonna butcher, but that one popped.
Absolutely. There's a very David Michael Kirby take on the universe and time that we've all grown.
Very David Michael Kirby Christmas, ladies and gentlemen.
Can you imagine if he produced fortune cookies that were all DMK quotes and sent them for Christmas? That would just be magic.
David,
They'd have to be very big cookies because he'd have a lot to say about the universe. And
Now you just have to open up each cookie to be able to read the whole thing.
Yes.
I have a popcorn moment.
Yes, David.
And it's at the end after everything, and JJ says, I don't want to waste any more time either. And he says, you know, I that moment alone, but then he, of course, says, you know, that thing you want to do earlier, well, I want to do it now.
Yeah. Absolutely. I definitely, the second he was looking around the room, I immediately felt that something big was about to happen. I just sensed it. I was like, oh, exploration. What's it going to be? Does anybody else have any popcorn moments? Yes, Sandra.
The line, even though he was dying, but my heart stopped. That it was so, because I remember it took me back to a time, you know, my first kiss, or when your heart does stop, and here you are experiencing that while somebody else, their heart, his or her heart is going to stop. I just love that moment. I mean, you know, I wish it wasn't that moment, but
Right.
you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. Thank you. I know exactly what you mean. Thanks.
Yeah.
Totally lovely, totally heartbreaking.
I really liked, David, that contrast of like the two, where I kind of felt like one of them, you know, JJ was a little bit more guarded, whereas Mac was kind of ready to just like give all of that. It's kind of like felt like he was just waiting to tell that story to someone special. And I kind of liked that contrast. I've kind of dealt with that in my life, where like you don't want to like seem like almost like pathetic and like being too, you know, romantic or available or whatever. But yeah, he was just kind of, Mac was just like ready to go for it. It's like he's been waiting for this, and I kind of loved to see that, where he's just like, I know this is a lot, but like this is me. So just like, you know, yeah.
I think when you're truly smitten, it's very hard. Self-control is very difficult.
It is, yes.
Yes, Maria Elena.
I was just gonna say, for me, the popcorn moment was never is a long time, you know, and it's almost here.
Yeah.
That landed hard.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Yes, Benjamin.
Mine popcorn moment would have been Mac going like chasing him basically to the bathroom, like in like his like most vulnerable state of like, did I overshare? Like it's like that moment in itself was like a reality hit me. I was like, oh well, yeah, I've been there, you know, like wait, no. So
I love it. Oh, did somebody else pop up? No, it was something else. Okay. So we'll move on just so that we make sure we get through all these different sections. So the next section of our feedback is questions. If there was anywhere that you dropped out, if that happened, or any confusion or anything like that, or other general questions that lingered with you. David, you don't necessarily have to have an answer to these questions, but if anybody has questions that popped up as you were listening. Benjamin, yes.
Given the intro that you gave us for the piece, David, I was very much interested to know what was it that like got these guys interested into each other, as far as like you said, the like two different worlds or whatever, and now we've like seen them and they're in like this like lovey-dovey stage, and I'm very interested in that journey. And I know it's scene 3, so obviously you have that journey, or I think it said, or the third one that you're putting, I'm sorry. It's obviously into the play. So I just, that's my question.
Yeah,
that is a
scene
question.
1 is their meeting.
Yeah. Okay.
Mandy.
God, I know. I should know our questionnaire of what questions we go through like the back of my hands that may belong somewhere else, but I don't know. Brain fog. Quarantine brain fog. I'm curious. My question would be about the conflict. There are nuggets of it, but my question is, where is that very pertinent conflict that you established in scene 1? I'm feeling all of the love and all of the background, but my question is, where is that?
It's intentional. Because the scene before this one is incredibly fraught with tension and violence.
Mm.
So this is like a little oasis, because the rest of the play is not going to be this.
Okay. Well, I guess my question would be, in some of my oases during the fraught, it doesn't mean.
So this is just a place for people to catch their breath before
Mhm.
before the roller.
He's like, you want conflict? I'll give you conflict.
Sure.
Absolutely. I mean, that kind of naturally brings us into the third section. So development, where was there anything you'd like to see further developed, or places that you think could be developed further as the writing process continues? David? You're muted.
I am muted, and I've only had half a pint of ale. Something dawned on me this time around that all the other times, you've been working on this piece, is it's almost a pay it forward with Mac. It seems to me, and I think that is a very interesting thing, and I'd love to see where that goes. Meaning that he got it from his friend Brian, and now he has that magic, or whatever you want to call it, that mojo, and he's passing it on to JJ, kind of like the journey of positive reinforcement and all those things.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember the first scene. I was so curious, and I think I said this in the lab at the time, that I was so curious about how deep they went so quickly. And this scene kind of explaining that background for Mac of as David said, like that kind of inherent magic that he has, people who have been touched by tragedy, people who have been touched by death, especially someone so young to have developed that very open way of expression, that very willing to go there kind of emotional energy. I think it's really lovely, and I feel this piece is so deeply filled with so much love. Yeah, I'm with Mandy. I'm very curious to see how it intertwines with the conflict, and the very real stakes at play.
That makes three of us.
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've written the whole thing yet or not, or if you're still in the process, but it definitely feels like you're constantly in a balance of how loving your characters are and how harsh their world is. And I think it's really interesting. Mandy?
I guess that's another question is I'm starting to really, I see in all the ways that they're similar, not necessarily in their life circumstances, but in their demeanors and different things like that and the things they share. And so my big question would be like, what really makes them different? Even if it's not internal, external, all these things, where are those differences?
Yeah.
Because they are starting to meld into, they feel like almost a unit already. Like where is the things that is keeping them from doing this, which they probably should be able to do, right?
Yep. I agree.
Anybody else? I forgot to set a timer. David Adams.
Yeah, we're at time.
I felt it. I was like, I feel like we're somewhere close, but then I realized
I was looking at you thinking, she hasn't set it. She hasn't set a timer. No, we're good. We went over, but it was worth it. It was worth it.
It was worth it. It was worth
Yes.
it. Congratulations, David Michael Kirby.
What is time, right? What's the quote, David?
Yeah.
Give us your time quote.
Every time quote from every David Michael Kirby piece justifies what I just did. Congratulations to you, David Michael Kirby. Please, everyone, if you have more feedback, please use the link. And thank you, actors. And we will move on to our second piece now of the night. So this is Rookie of the Year by David Adam Gill. And
I'm going to finish that pint now. This is new, so it's from the beginning. So all the regular questions, with maybe perhaps some comments on relationships, who these people are, what you think is up between them. My wonderful cast here is Michelangelo Milano playing Parker, and Daniel Hidalgo playing Adam. And the wonderful Maria Elena O'Brien will be on stage directions, and I'm cutting out. Have fun, guys.
Rookie of the Year by David Adam Gill. Lights up on a dimly lit room, disheveled bed. Two bodies lay naked in the sheets. A moment, then Adam slowly sits up, looks over at Parker to make sure he's still asleep, then carefully reaches over the side of the bed, pulls his pants off the floor, and fishes his cell phone from the pocket. Carefully, he pulls the sheets back, exposing Parker's naked body, takes a few pictures. He checks the pictures on his phone, pushes a few buttons, positions his face close to Parker's, hesitates a moment, then takes one more picture. A loud click and a flash.
Shit.
Parker stirs as Adam frantically searches for a place to hide the phone. Just as he slides it under his pillow, Parker's eyes open.
What was that?
Nothing. Good morning.
Good morning? What time is it?
Adam looks toward the window. The blinds are closed.
I don't know.
Parker checks his phone on the nightstand.
It's 3 a.m., hardly morning.
I'm an early riser.
Come here.
Parker pulls Adam on top of him. They kiss. It gets passionate, and Adam pulls away abruptly.
I gotta go.
At 3 a.m.
Sorry, I need to get home, showered, get to work.
The restaurant?
I've got other gigs.
That demand your attention at 3 a.m.?
6 a.m.
Oh, okay.
Adam stands to get dressed.
Go back to sleep.
No, I'll get up too.
Suit yourself.
Adam continues to dress. Parker pulls the pillows together to create a bolster, then leans back. Adam's cell phone with the last picture taken is revealed, but Parker does not see it. Adam's eyes go to the cell phone. He sits on the bed.
I had a good time with you.
You were an asshole at the bar.
I had a rough night.
You got better.
So did my night.
Parker raises his eyebrows playfully. Adam smiles.
Will I see you again?
I'm sure we'll run into each other.
You know what I mean.
I do.
The bar scene really isn't my thing.
So what brought you out last night?
I told you I had a rough night.
A rough night, yes.
So, what do you say? Can I call you?
Sure, why not?
Yeah? What's your number? I'll text you.
Adam eyes.
Give it to me. I'll type it in.
Listen, you know who I am, right?
Am I supposed to?
Refreshingly no. Forget it.
Okay.
Adam is dressed.
Okay.
Your number.
As Adam takes the phone, Parker mumbles something.
Oh, God,
What?
Sure. Nothing. It's just it's been a while for me.
Long beat. Adam leans in to kiss Parker. The kiss turns passionate again, and Parker grabs Adam, pulling him on top. Adam tries to discreetly grab his phone, but Parker rolls them over so that he's on top of Adam.
You can't make it 6:30?
I can't.
Parker follows Adam's eyes to the cell phone under the pillow. He grabs it.
This yours?
Yes,
I'll type my number.
I can do that.
It's locked. You need to
Parker notices the picture on the screen.
What is this?
Nothing, just my screensaver.
You dirty boy.
Yeah, well, can I have it?
Now, hold on. Is this me?
No. How could it be?
This is me. What the fuck?
Adam grabs the phone from Parker.
I gotta go. Look, let me go.
Who I am.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You all along.
Get off.
this supposed to be? I just wanted some pictures to remember you by. Bullshit. What is this, blackmail? No, get off me. Lie to me, Adam, if that's your real name. It is.
Parker looks into Adam's eyes. Adam defiantly stares back.
Unbelievable. Give me my phone. No. It's my property. And my image is my property, fucking asshole. You're a public figure. Your image doesn't belong to you.
Parker tries to hit the delete button while still trying to keep Adam pinned to the bed. He fumbles and Adam pushes with all his might, knocking Parker off the bed onto the floor. The phone goes flying across the room. They both rush to grab it. Adam wins. Parker moves to block the door.
Get out of my way. Delete the picture first. No. You have no right.
Parker punches the door, then screams with pain.
Careful there. Don't want to hurt that golden arm of yours.
There's a standoff. After a moment, Parker leans against the door.
You're not getting out of here then. Fine.
Adam sits on the bed.
I can play the waiting game too. Why are you doing this? The guy's got to make a living. Money? I can give you money. I bet you could. $5,000. I can get more than that for these. These? How many are there? 50,000. $100,000. How about $1 million? I don't have that much. Didn't you just renew like a $20 million contract? I don't get it all at once. That on top of all of the potential licensing and endorsement deals, you're on your way to becoming a very rich man, Parker Reeves. Which I'll lose all of if you post those pictures. It's a no-win situation for you, isn't it? Okay. What? All right, $1 million. Wow. Holding tightly onto our last shred of heteronormativity, aren't we? At any cost. So what do you say? I say I don't want your money. What? You just said that you want. No, you said. I don't understand. What do you want?
Adam's face becomes dark.
I want people to see the kind of person that you really are. Which is? A selfish, hypocritical, self-loathing faggot who's terrified of being found out. He's willing to go to any length to hide it. I don't see how this is any of your business. People look up to you, Parker. Parker Reeves, Rookie of the Year. Think what it might have meant to someone like me when I was growing up. Someone like you, an extortionist out for a fast buck. Maybe if I had a positive role model. You're an asshole. Let's not forget all those queer kids you're letting down, hiding away in that closet of yours. It's not true. Oh? I do what I can. Keep fooling yourself. I volunteer. I give to charities. Any LGBTQ charities? Volunteer with gay youth? No. Hypocrite. But I will. I promise. Please. This will ruin me if it gets out. You don't know. They say, sure, the league is becoming more tolerant, but that's just bullshit. Look what happened to Ricky Alvarez. He was a hero for like a hot second, then disappeared, lost all of his endorsements. I'm just starting out. I can't, you can't do this to me. I can. And I am. God damn it, it's not up to you. I don't care. What did I ever do? What I thought we had a connection. We? Nothing. You thought, here's another nice guy. Sleep with him. See how it goes. Maybe if it works out, you could set something up. A regular thing. Tell him the deal, the story, how things need to be. Keep him on a tight leash. Can't tell friends, family, nobody. After a while, maybe ask him to move in. Might as well not pay for all those expensive hotel rooms if you got a live-in roommate. It's easier to control the risk, and there's always risk. The only problem is what to do with him when the boys stop by for a poker game.
Who are you?
Stick him in the garage? It'll only be an hour or so. So what if it's freezing cold and damp? So what if he's not feeling well? He'll do it just because you asked to. Josh sat out there for 5 hours, Parker. 5 fucking hours till you decided to let him back in.
Adam?
Keller.
Shit.
You motherfucker. You didn't even visit him at the hospital. You let him die alone after he gave you everything.
You think I'm not heartbroken? I had to be careful. He knew that. And for your information, I did visit him in the hospital.
On your way out of town.
What was I supposed to do? We had away games.
And he died while you were away, right? Alone. Hooked up to a ventilator.
How do you know that?
He wouldn't even let me call his parents. No one, because he didn't want to upset you. You, who promised him everything, gave him nothing, only took.
You don't know what you're talking about.
I do.
It's complicated, more complicated than you can imagine.
You had no balls, plain and simple. People look up to you. Josh looked up to you like you were some kind of god, but all you were and all you are is a liar and a coward.
And he loved me.
He didn't know you. You never let him.
He knew me better than anyone. He was the only one. You're just mad because he left you for me.
You're damn right I'm mad. Look at you, Mr. Hotshot baseball player. How could I compete?
You could have if you tried.
No, you were relentless with the calls and the texts. You wouldn't leave him alone until he left me.
So that's what this is about.
Maybe.
You didn't want Josh, that is, until he was with me and you couldn't have him anymore. He told me about you.
You're a liar.
He used to tell me how you used to string him along until someone better popped up. Then you drop him like a hot potato.
Oh, look who's talking, murderer.
Fuck you.
You already did, and it wasn't so hot.
I never once cheated on Josh.
Maybe not with a guy, but you did with the game, and you certainly cheated him out of his life.
I worked hard to get where I am.
You got everything you've ever wanted handed to you on a silver platter. Golden child, golden man.
You think this is easy? Hiding who I am, being duplicitous, loving someone and not being able to talk about it, losing them, it's killing me. I did it because it's necessary. Josh knew what he signed up for.
The brochure was misleading.
What's that supposed to mean?
That all-American facade is nothing more than chicken wire and crepe paper. Very pretty, hollow inside. Scared.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I think we're more alike than you'd care to admit.
We'll see about that.
That we will.
Parker grabs a pillow off the floor and putting it between his back and the door, leans back. Adam remains seated on the bed, silent, looking at his phone. A long pause before lights fade to black. End scene.
Thanks, guys.
Fabulous work, actors. David, do you have any specific questions for this piece?
No, I think the three areas will cover it.
Beautiful. Okay, so we'll start again with popcorn moments. Yes, Mark.
Conflict. What great conflict. I was just salivating. It was like, and what I love about it is that you don't take sides. You see both points of view, and it's a toss-up. it's like, you know, you can take a side, but if you're really listening and you really hear what each is saying, it's like, it's turmoil. It's like a no way out situation, and it's very gripping. Yeah, I was taken from the beginning. Yeah.
Daniel?
Yeah, no, I was just to backpack off of what Mark had just said. I mean, I was in the scene, and I like didn't know whose side like I even wanted to be. Like, it was just so like, oh, now I like him, now I really don't. Now it's like, it was. I mean, I told you, David, I love this. It was just so. I mean, as an actor, it was so much fun, but also just like, yeah, it was just one of those things where I was like, I have to know so much more about both of these people, because I really wanted to know both of their stories and just kind of get to know what their intentions were. Yeah, it was great. I was like on the edge of my seat the whole time. I have to know what happens next.
Me too.
Absolutely. Mandy?
From the get-go, there's the line where he discovers the picture and he talks about like, you're a public figure, you don't have the right to your picture. Like the push and pull of public image versus private life for things from the get-go is there. And it was Adam who had that line, not sorry, I don't even know the other
Parker.
character's name. Parker, which I'm pretty sure was on purpose, but it's very good.
Absolutely. Yeah, that moment absolutely stuck out to me as well. Just the gut punch of you don't own your image. I feel like it's very much in the zeitgeist right now, that a lot of celebrities are dealing with that. I don't know if anybody else has been the Emily Ratajkowski book and her articles in combination with kind of that exploration of, as a public figure, do you own your image? And also when the moment when he started talking about like, I deserve to have you as a queer role model in my life, of even like, I deserved to have your outness as part of you getting to have celebrity and the money that comes with it and all of those public things, that I deserve to have that information and that access. Is so wild. Very dark, David. It's very dark. Yes, James?
Yeah, so one of the things about this piece that really stuck out to me is like, I've had this conversation with many people. It's people want celebrities to be role models for lack of a better word, minorities or underappreciated things, but a lot of people don't realize they would not be celebrities if they hadn't kind of hidden some of their stuff. So I always say it's a fine thing, and that's kind of what this piece is touching on. It's like, yeah, he could be a role model, but if he was out, he probably wouldn't be as famous as he is. So it's that whole catch-22. And on the other thing is, with the whole thing with the image thing, I'm a photographer here in Orlando, and I had a dispute with someone because I did a voluntary shoot for them and they said they own their image. I was like, you don't. It worked out fine, but the whole misunderstanding of who owns the copyright of what, and public figure versus private, and how it was obtained is more important than the actual picture. So I thought it was fascinating. It's really, really good, but it just makes people think that just because he seemed like an arrogant ass, that he has to do what he has to do to succeed in his way of thinking. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong, it's just the way he believes it to be.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. So I guess we can move on. I did set a timer this time, so we've got about 6 minutes left.
That's one of my shorter like presentations. So go.
Beautiful.
That's fine.
But we'll move on to questions. So if there was ever any moment where you felt like you dropped out or felt a moment of confusion in the piece. Yes, Sandra.
I just have one question about Adam and the whole using, what's the character's name who died?
Josh.
Was Adam using Josh, or see, I got the impression that Adam wanted Parker to be a certain way and to be honest about himself. But then there was the section where Parker was saying that Josh used to talk about Adam, how he would use him, correct?
Yes.
I was just curious, was that true, or is that who Adam was? Because I was with Adam until Parker started talking about him in this way, you know? And so I was just curious about that. And then I was also curious how this was going to end. Was he going to be able to get out the room, or was he going to be dying also?
So I'm not going to answer that because it is through the
Right.
further development, you
Right.
get that.
Right.
It's, and especially what James said about how if he came out, would he be the celebrity? Would he be
Right,
the
no,
role model?
no.
Would be able to be that? Yeah. So those are things that I'm struggling with as the piece moves forward.
Okay. Okay.
I'll
But
let you know.
Okay.
Your question is David's question too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mandy.
I had a quick one surrounding the specifics of the last requests of Josh, sorry, when he was leaving. And there was one about like, he wouldn't even let me call his parents because of you. And there may be an answer to that, but that one made me go, what? So maybe in a good way and stuff, but that one had a little question mark for me, that specific line. Yeah.
Yeah. Kat, did I see your hand up?
Not as much a question as an anecdote to Sandra's question, which I thought was really interesting, because between that and like watching this scene, it really reminded me of a episode of season 2 of Modern Love, right? Called How Do You Remember Me? And it goes back and forth between two people remembering like a love encounter together. But in the same way, like, where does the truth lie? And I think that there's something kind of interesting that we won't know. Like, I think Adam is speaking his truth and Parker is speaking his truth. I don't think anyone is intentionally lying. And the piece, because to me it resonated that Adam was really pissed, right? That he watched whoever Josh was to him emotionally die, that he was so pissed about it. And then, you know, it also resonated to me like Parker's struggle. So I think there was something inherently kind of.
So I agree. It was just, I guess for me, listening to Adam really make a strong stand for what Parker did. And then for Parker to turn in and come and talk about this, all of a sudden, it almost in a way, it's like, oh, so you're full of crap too. You know, it's like both of you both are, or are you? Or
Can I ask you a question? Did you feel at any point that their stories were motivated by guilt towards Josh? And if not, the fact is, oh God. Sorry, go ahead, Daniel, because I don't want to go.
Well, I was just gonna say, I don't know if this is totally a direct answer to your question, but I did get the vibe when I first read the script that Adam feels almost a little bit guilty that he actually is quite attracted to Parker in real life. Like, he actually is quite attracted to him. And I think while he, in his mind, just wants to be like, I'm just using you, you douchebag, fuck you. I do think that he actually did sense a genuine connection with him. Maybe I'm reading a little too much into it, but yeah, that's a vibe that I got, or when I first read it.
I do.
Sorry.
To answer your question, David, I didn't feel that they were motivated by guilt in their relationship with Josh. It almost felt like they were both kind of using him as a pawn in their like upper handedness.
Good, thank you.
Yeah, Mandy, and then Maria Elena.
Thanks.
Oh, there she is. I second spite was the word that kept coming to my mind. It felt spiteful. And I didn't sense Josh in the scene at all, but it's the first scene, so I didn't think that was necessarily a bad thing, but I didn't, you know what I mean? With outside of name and circumstance, I didn't sense that.
Maria Elena.
I was just gonna say, I definitely felt they were projecting guilty feelings on each other because they both have a lot of unresolved feelings and unfinished business when it comes to the death of this young man. And I guess this is where it all comes to a roost.
Great. Thank you.
Just can't wait to read more. That's all I'll say. Can't wait to see more from this piece.
Truly. We're just about out of time. I'll stop it before it makes noise. Yeah, David, this is such an incredibly complex piece. And definitely, I think one that folks could really sit with and find more things and more reactions. So I would definitely encourage everyone to use the form. Please send feedback. David, congratulations. It's so lovely. And thank you, actors.
Yeah, thank you. No, that was very helpful. Thank you.
Yeah, we like to hear. And we will move on to our penultimate piece, To Sarah, My Muse by Benjamin Culpepper. Oh, and Benjamin, you can introduce it.
Okay, there we go. That's the thing I'll do. This is the first scene of this play, and not too much I am going to give you about it, but as far as feedback is concerned, I am just interested in the flow of it all. So enjoy. Thanks.
To Sarah, My Muse, a one-act play by Benjamin Daniel Culpepper. Scene 1, the meeting. Downstage left and downstage right are both set with park benches, both empty. A man, Warren, begins to walk out to center stage. He looks lost, confused. A voiceover begins.
See that man there? One constantly searching, as if he's never been in this place before? That's me. But I've been here almost 1,000 times, well, 965 times to be exact, and I'm not lost, not geographically anyway. I'm not searching for a place, but for a connection. The problem is life is full of missed connections, no matter how hard you try. I think I scare others off while I search. I usually make eye contact with 1 in every 7 people, and of those people, 1 in 4 acknowledge me. That's 1 in 28 people. And even though I have done this almost every day that I can for the past 4 years, I still don't know what to do when they acknowledge me. I just keep staring, dumbfounded. So they move their gaze from mine pretty quickly. Worse, they walk in a diagonal to avoid me after that. Usually after about an hour of this searching, I find a bench somewhere close to the large crowd and pull out my notebook. And I try to write. You see, I'm searching because I want more stories. I want to know what their lives are like, their hopes, dreams, their fears, their strengths, their secrets. I know that I'm not terribly interesting, but others are sublimely transfixing. Why did they come to the park today?
As if in a distant memory, a light builds to illuminate an older man, Abraham, as he walks out onto the stage. The 2 men smile warmly at each other. Warren takes out a leather-bound notebook. Warren's gaze falls from Abraham down to his notebook. He places his hand on the cover and closes his eyes a moment. Now fully in the light, it is clear that Abraham is carrying a violin case and a backpack. He takes a stick off of the ground and wipes off the bench downstage right. He pulls out a mat to sit on.
I saw a man in the park today. He had a violin on his back. Before he sat down on the bench next to me, he wiped the bench down with a stick. Just a stick. Then he pulled out a silicone mat to sit on. Eventually, after enjoying a cookie and some hot tea from a thermos, he began to play.
Abraham begins to play. As he talks, Warren begins to write.
this was hers. She taught me how to play, my Isabel. It's been 2 years today that I've survived without her. The first year, I let this violin collect dust. I let myself collect dust. I did nothing. I didn't live.
He stops playing abruptly. He puts the violin down.
Life shouldn't be lived that way, in the dark, away from others. Life is meant to be cherished, to be explored. I didn't respect life after Isabel left me, after she left this world, I mean.
He looks back at Warren. This is Warren's internal thought process addressing him, guiding him.
Why did I pick the violin back up?
I don't. Oh, yeah.
I hadn't left the bed in months, it felt like. Somehow I was being fed. Somehow I was being clothed, and somehow I still lived. Well, if you can call that living. Anyway, getting to the reason why I picked up the violin.
He looks back at Warren again.
One morning, I looked up at our boudoir. One morning, I awoke to a beautiful sunrise. I don't know why, but the rays of the sun flooding into my room brought my body up in one buoyant motion. It was then that I saw her violin. I hadn't seen it since the week before her death.
He picks it back up.
She taught me to play with this violin. It was weird playing it without her there. It was strange living without her there. Cancer took her fast. Cancer? Isn't that overdone?
It affects a lot of people.
Diabetes had finally taken her. Diabetes?
What's wrong with diabetes?
Well, I think unless it is type 1, it will cause something else to kill you. It won't kill you directly.
Fine. What about heart attack? Yeah, that's it.
Her heart was broken, and I couldn't put it back together, so I lost her. What? What does that even mean? Have you ever lost someone?
Well, I just don't. Yes, of course I have. My grandpa, Abe, died when I was 14.
Well, maybe you should use your own memories of that to help you finish this story. Build from what you...
No. I'm supposed to create. I'm a creative. We create. So I have to...
Create. Yeah, I get it.
Abraham once again picks up the violin.
Her heart gave out, but mine won't. Not now. Now I play her song, her favorite song, every day at our special spot in the park, the spot that I proposed. I miss you, sweet Isabel.
He begins to play again.
Seems unfinished. How do I...
All at once, a shocking, vibrant light highlights a woman, Sarah, as she enters our world. Her resolute eyes meet Warren's only for a moment before she looks away, searching beyond what is seen. Warren seems enamored. He quickly turns the page in his journal, and everything about Sarah changes.
Ugh, what a day. Men are so easy, but women, I can't stand them. I can't stand to talk with another woman about her problems in our society. Baby, I'm doing just fine. Don't believe me? You can ask your husband. Right, Tiger?
She sits on Abraham's lap.
Don't worry, big boy. I'll keep this between us. If you keep that between my...
She turns to Warren, addressing him.
Really? This is the story you're going to come up with for me?
Well,
I mean, for fuck's sake. This is just turning into bad erotic literature.
The world needs erotic stories. It's the oldest kind of art. Porn.
And that's what you want to go with, huh?
Well, I mean, I'm sorry.
For? Yeah, for writing some sad love story about grandpa here, but then turning me into your sex fantasy?
Oh, yeah, that's not how it should have gone.
And why is that?
Why is what?
Why shouldn't my story have turned out that way?
I don't know. Maybe it says something about how I view women, or it highlights why I don't
Don't?
have women in my life. I've created them into this kind of larger than life sex object, and it actually made it more difficult for me to talk with any women. It's not on them, it's on me.
So you do know that relationships are more than sex, right?
I've heard that, yes.
She gets off Abraham's lap and sits next to Warren.
They are. You have to go in without sex being the most important aspect of the potential coupling. That'll give you an actual chance at lasting longer than a month, a week, or a night.
I just wish I had some excuse to talk to you. You're beautiful. Incredibly so, but how can I walk up to you and just strike a conversation?
Well, maybe you can't. The stars have to sometimes align for something like that to happen. Do you really think I came to the park to get hit on? And do you think that hitting on me will really lead to a lasting and fulfilling relationship?
No.
Then how about you try to make a story about me that isn't all about sex and try to be aware in the future for those right moments to talk to a woman of interest.
Okay. Before I write this, what would I say
What do you mean?
to you if the stars aligned?
Well, find something beyond my beauty to talk about. Any guy can walk up and tell me I'm beautiful, and part of me might be flattered. The majority of me knows what that really means is that they've only noticed one superficial aspect of me, not my character, not my abilities, not my history, just the most basic thing to admire about somebody, their beauty.
Yeah. Okay.
Sarah stands up, a character alive again. She slowly moves down stage left.
Today was, I'm done with today. That's it. I'd like to move past it, please. I missed the 3 train by a matter of seconds this morning. I heard it pull in the station as I arrived at the turnstile. Thankfully, I had my flats on. I leave my heels at work because, well, come on, I'm a human being, not a robot. Anyway, I was in a full-on sprint past the turnstile and down the stairs again to the Manhattan-bound platform, and I can't even put my life at risk by throwing my hand or foot in the doorway because it's closed already. The next train, 15 minutes away. I guess that's on me. I shouldn't be running late for work anyway, right? Sometimes my bed is just too warm and I don't want to leave. You see, I don't have one of those jobs that you want to go to every day, or at least I don't. What do I do? You can't just dance around this forever.
I'm getting there.
I'm a compensation analyst. I am?
Trust me.
Okay. I'm the person in HR at your company that decides salaries, benefit packages, and such to develop compensation plans for new hires, as well as no one will care about this.
You're right. I gotta make it more heartfelt.
Sometimes my bed is warm, and if I'm being honest, I don't really want to go to work anyway. I'm a compensation analyst, and it doesn't matter what that means. What matters is I go to work every day and use a multitude of equations to determine what someone else's life or work is worth. Fun, right? Well, there's nothing better than showing up late when you work in the HR department. Do people really care about this stuff? This sounds like a lot of exposition.
I have to create a day-to-day for your character as a way to introduce you to the rest of the world.
Today's especially hard because I'm meeting up with my father for the first time since my mother died. We both took her death really hard and had a big fight the day after her funeral. We haven't talked since, but yesterday he finally broke the silence and called. He left me a voicemail telling me that he comes to the park every day around this time and that he wanted to talk. So I came. I mean, he's my dad through it all.
Abraham notices her.
Sweetheart?
She turns to him.
Hey, Dad. I remember this spot.
I knew you would.
Sarah sits on the bench with him, but with as much distance as possible.
I can still see you playing in that fountain every summer. I always hated it back then, said it made you too dirty to clean the city off of you. But she always calmed me down, told me that she would clean you up.
She always did. I remember she scolded me the first time because she found coins in my pockets. She asked, "What were you going to do with these?" I didn't know. I was like 5 or 6. She told me that I was stealing other people's dreams, that if I didn't put them back, it would hurt me in the future.
What? Wait, she said that?
Yeah, I could never figure out why. She wasn't superstitious or even religious.
Well, she probably just didn't want me to know. Another reason for me to be the rigid, lifeless one.
Dad.
I know. I know. It just stuck with me. Every day that first year, I played our conversation over and over in my head. Oh, you can do better than that. Come on. Use your creativity.
Yeah, you probably. Wait, what about this?
It's okay, sweetheart. I haven't been able to forget it, but that's only because it was the freshest memory I had of you, my strongest connection to you. Without it, for some reason, you were just a little girl, a distant memory of my past life.
I was hurt. She hurt me by leaving. I just wanted someone else to understand my wound.
I was already stinging at that point, more than any bee in this park.
I understand that now. I wish Dad, I just hope you don't. I'm so.
I love you.
Abraham embraces her.
I love you. Nothing you've said, done, will do, or say will diminish my love for you.
She falls more into his arms.
Do you always play when you come?
I do. You should know I'm doing better than I was, I mean. I didn't leave home for much too long. This violin is my deepest connection to her, to the part of her that I want to remember anyway.
I've avoided music this whole time. I even stopped transferring trains at Fulton Street because the same cellist plays there 3 times a week. How did you survive?
Your Aunt Monica. She came over every day, basically fed and clothed me like a baby. I still can't believe it.
Wow. Do you still see her? Now that you're back on your feet?
On occasion. She helped me a lot.
I'm really glad. It's good to see you again. And I wish I could have been there when you needed it the most.
I still need it, sweetheart. The pain lingers.
It does, doesn't it?
They freeze.
Crap. Where do they go from here? Both have pain, unhealed, some even unnoticed. That's it. Conflict. They still need conflict.
The only time I don't feel the pain is when I'm playing here.
What part of Mom do you want to forget?
What do you mean?
You said that the violin helped you connect to the part of her you wanted to remember. What do you want to forget about Mom?
No, I just, no, sweetheart, she's dead. I don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Well, you're choosing to think ill of her if you're unconsciously avoiding aspects of her in your remembrance.
Oh, that's not fair. We just had a few problems in the years right before she died. Things that we never resolved because we just didn't have the time. So I try to skip over that. If I don't think about it long enough, I'll forget it.
That's not how things work, Dad.
Well, it very well could. I'm old enough.
Dad, you can't consciously forget something, especially if it's painful.
Abraham stands and notices a flower off to the side. He goes to it.
Hell if I can't.
You'll have to face it.
That's not fair. It is something we should have figured out together. We just didn't have the time.
Warren slowly stands and at a temperate pace walks forward to Downstage Center. He has his head down in his notebook, still writing.
Did she cheat on you?
No, well, what did she do? She wanted to leave the city. She wanted to sell our apartment, use a small portion of it to buy some small farmhouse upstate, and donate the rest to charities that fight homelessness. She had always mentioned it when we were younger, before you, and even a few times after you were born. But I thought I had made it clear that I didn't want to leave the city, and so we didn't talk about it for 10 years or so, until you went to college. Then, every day, it was all she could talk about. Then other things started coming out. I was cheap. I didn't care about others. I didn't love her enough to be alone in some godforsaken town in the middle of nowhere. Then I started in on her too. And suddenly, every day, we were discovering new lost dreams that we both had, that we had made the other one liable for their demise. Then she got sick, and the conversation stopped. 2 years of hatred was put on hold, never discussed again. It was still there, though. Even when I was taking care of her, I saw a lack of respect in her eyes. I still sometimes see that look when I close my eyes.
Still looking down at his notebook and walking forward, Warren celebrates.
Perfect.
Suddenly the lights flash. Warren hits the ground. Lights come up on Downstage Center as Sarah is standing above Warren, who is still passed out on the ground. She touches his shoulder.
Are you okay?
Ugh, my head. What happened?
Their eyes meet.
Oh, you were walking and writing, I think, and you yelled perfect just as you walked into this tree here.
Shit. I mean, sorry. I just can't believe I was so careless. Sometimes I just get caught up in things, especially when I'm writing. I can lose track of space and time. I'm so sorry. Did I walk in front of you? I didn't mean to. Like I said, I just...
No, it's okay. I was sitting on that bench over there.
The bench downstage left is now lit.
Oh, well, thanks for caring. You really didn't have to check on me.
Oh, it's not every day that you see someone walk right into a large tree. I was almost worried that you weren't all there, but it looks like you are.
Oh, yeah. I'm all here. There. I mean, here.
He laughs way too loud to cover his mistake. She picks up his notebook from downstage.
What were you writing?
Oh, nothing. Just trying to come up with a new story. Trying to listen to the park, the people. It can be really inspiring sometimes.
She hands his notebook to him. Again, their eyes meet.
I know what you mean. I'm a photographer.
Really?
She points at a camera case on the bench.
That's nifty. I mean, awesome.
No, it is very nifty. My nifty knave.
Knave? That's not a compliment. Technically, knaves are...
Don't think too much about it. I would call you something different if only I knew what. Ideas?
Warren.
I'm Sarah.
Well, thank you again, Sarah, for being there for me.
You're welcome. But honestly, I was just really curious as to what was so perfect.
Oh, well, I think I came up with something original, something that made sense as a conflict between two characters.
Well, congrats.
I don't know if that's worthy of congratulations. Definitely not worth this bump on my head. Would you put your number in here?
He pulls his phone out of his pocket and hands it toward her.
What?
You know, in case I have to get a witness for the insurance claim.
You're a writer.
Yes. Why?
You might need to edit that request a bit. I don't think you've convinced me thoroughly, Nifty Knave.
I'm sorry. I don't normally ever do that.
You don't say. I hope your writing skills are better than your improv skills.
Warren gets up.
I just didn't want to miss an opportunity. Not that you're an opportunity. I just mean that, well, if you are single, well, I think that you're obviously incredibly kind, inquisitive, artsy, and of course.
Of course.
Goes without saying that you're.
Maybe it doesn't.
Awe-striking.
He turns. She stops him. Their eyes meet once more.
If there's one thing I care about, it's successful insurance claims.
She grabs his phone. Lights go down on everything except Warren, who is lit downstage center. End of scene.
Hey.
Can I just say that I did not get to read that beforehand, and I was crying because I was trying not to laugh on mic. And oh my God, that was amazing.
That was wonderful. I absolutely agree. So we don't have much. We've got about 20 seconds, but I'm going to add a few more minutes. And let's just, I think for now, so everyone please use the form if you have more in-depth feedback, but I think we can just go quickly with some popcorn moments, things that stuck out to you. David.
So I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I loved the author and the characters and manipulating them. But it got to a point where it was, it's this beautifully moving thing, and then he's like, "There's not enough conflict. You got to give us conflict." And I was so thankful for that, because I was like, "Oh, it's getting too good." And so with the house, the farmhouse and everything, and I started laughing, even though it's a very poignant thing. But I was like, thank you for that farmhouse. It just was at the right time. Beautiful.
The sincerity of it makes it even funnier somehow. It's so wonderful, Ben.
Mandy.
So beautifully self-aware for someone who walks right into a tree.
I really enjoyed Sarah's and not just because I got to play Sarah, but this whole idea of hey, you're being she says you're being a misogynist, but let's get introspective about how you see women because of how you're writing me. Hello. That to me was it was so funny to think of right? That concept of the male writer and his own character that he's created is now get it together.
Big Stranger Than Fiction vibes in the most wonderful way.
Absolutely.
I think it's really fun how you don't really know whether the writer's writing the words or the characters are kind of writing the words just as a form on the play. So that's fun. Yeah.
Okay. All right, one or two more. Mark, you're muted.
I like how he catches himself and says, what do you know about? And so the muse says, why don't you just write about your grandfather then? That's what you know. It's don't make it up. Write about, and he does.
Absolutely.
It's kind of cool. Yeah.
Mandy.
I love that you took every nugget of everything they tell you in a playwriting class. Every single thing. Write what you know. Conflict. All these things. And but did it in a digestible way for somebody who's probably never taken a playwriting class. So you essentially schooled them by entertaining them. I like that.
I love that. Yes. So again, please, if you have further feedback, questions about development, things you'd like to see develop further, please use the form. And everyone know that if you'd like to meet a woman, walk into a tree. That's the true lesson here. So now
you're all doing fantastic. Thank you.
Absolutely, yes.
And so wonderfully cast. Perfect.
Thank you
Yeah,
all.
you guys
Y'all-
did a great
it was
job.
beautiful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Culpepper.
Thank you to the actors, and Ben, congratulations. Benjamin, congratulations and great work. We're so happy to have you.
Yeah.
And we will move on to our final piece of the evening, which is McGurk's Suicide Hall, a fictional account of actual events by Evan Edwards. And I will leave it to you to introduce.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. So now we're going to move on to something very different. This is a very dark piece. Let me give you some background because we kind of start in the middle-ish and do like 6 quick scenes. So what you haven't seen is that Emma and Peter just immigrated to New York City in 1902. They end up on the Lower East Side outside a hotel where the first electric sign in New York is being lit. Snorky. First, Emma's played by Mary Lauren. Peter's played by John Pena Griswold. Snorky is played by Miles Butler. Snorky is a newsie who warns the brother and sister, to not stick around. It's not a good place. Unfortunately, Kid, played by James Berkeley, a hustler who works at the hotel, has offered them something they can't resist: a job and a place to stay. The job is for Peter, a barback, at the saloon that's run by Paul, played by Mark Hoffmeyer. Paul is also the pimp for this group of women who work out of the hotel. Jack, played by John Austin Wiggins, is Paul's bodyguard, and nobody messes with him. Mandy Murphy's playing Big Mamie. She's one of the lead prostitutes, although we don't get to see much of her during this cut. And we're just being introduced to a mysterious character here called Cross, who's being played by David Michael Kirby. Sandra Paris is playing the female chorus, which includes working girls, Tina, a sickly beat up prostitute, and blonde Madge, a wither old prostitute who is on her last legs. Max Turner plays the male chorus, which includes Dr. Janinski, who is a drunk doctor, Charlie, the head waiter at the saloon, Izzy, the piano player at the saloon, and Philip, who is an English, what's the word again? Immigrant, thank you. An English immigrant who has recently met Emma and Peter and fallen in love and kind of stalks them throughout this first piece. You only see a little bit of that. Marie Elena O'Brien,
Okay.
on stage directions. Again, it's awesome. What just happened prior to the scene you're seeing is that Jack, the brute, and Tina, the young sickly prostitute, have just danced an apache, which is a historical dance that's very violent. The two dancers basically beat each other up. But Jack, being the huge brute that he is kind of decimated poor little Tina. And that's where we pick up at. Take it away.
McGurk's Suicide Hall, a fictional account of actual events. A musical in 2 acts, libretto by Evan Edwards, music by Janine Tirana. Scene: in and around 295 Bowery Street and 5 Points Park on New York City's Lower East Side, 1902, early spring through late fall. Jack exits the room. The working girls bring Tina back to a curtained area to tend to her. Johnny Spanish leads Big Mame to a room. Slowly they disrobe. The naked Johnny Spanish flashes cash and puts it on the nightstand. Big Mame lays on her bed. An interior corridor of McGurk's saloon and hotel. There's a staircase and the door leading to the street and the side entrance to the bar. Behind the stairs is storage. Rooms are visible at the top of the stairs. A battered Tina enters from a room. Paul enters from the bar. Unknown to Tina, Paul is in immense pain.
Well, Mr. Kelly, fancy meeting you here.
Good evening to you as well, Miss Tina.
He inspects Tina's bruised face.
I trust you like your new job.
It's ever so kind of you to ask, Mr. Kelly.
Tina is trying to seduce Paul as Peter enters the corridor carrying boxes. He sees Paul with Tina and continues on to the storage area. Paul leans against the wall.
Hasn't the floor show started? I need to make sure that everyone is.
Paul slides down the wall. Tina grabs him and tries to hold him up. He ends up on the floor. Tina sees her hands covered in blood.
What is Mr. Los? What happened? Are you all right?
Tina sobs and points. Peter finds Paul's shirt covered in blood.
Do not just stand there. Go get help.
Tina exits to the street. Peter rips open Paul's shirt. His abdomen is covered in bandages soaked in blood. Peter takes off his apron and uses it to apply pressure to Paul's wounds.
What's going on? This stupid bitch can't say nothing. Move out of the way, boss. Boss, I told you to take care of this. I told you.
A crowd gathers, including Big Mane.
Someone get a doctor.
Dr. Janinski across the street at 323 Bowery. Go clear a room. Anyone in there, kick them out. If they give you grief, tell them, eat them up, Jack says, scream.
Tina goes upstairs to her room.
Get back to humping, the lot of you. You ain't seen nothing and you don't know nothing neither, or you'll find your asses out on the street or worse.
Big Mame lingers as the crowd exits. Jack picks up Paul and ascends the stairs and enters the room. Paul is placed on the bed.
What's gonna happen to him?
The doctor does not get here soon, he will die.
Come on, boss, hang in there. Dr. Janinski is on his way.
I didn't do anything. Don't kick me out, please. I've got nowhere to go.
Somebody come get this cunt off me before I snap her neck.
Big Mame enters and gets Tina. Kid rushes in, pulling a drunk Dr. Janinski. They all collide. The contents of the doctor bag spill out onto the floor. Everything is recovered except one bottle.
Leave that stuff and get over here.
Jack picks up a drunk Dr. Janinski by the collar and pushes him over to Paul.
He's been shot.
I could have told you that, and I ain't got no damn degree.
Oh, well, the bullet is still in him, so I'm going to need you, my large friend, to hold him down.
If that drunk quack operates, he'll kill Paul for sure.
Someone grab my bag. I'll need some clean bandages. I'll need a leather strap. I'll need some alcohol.
I think you've had enough
smelling
alcohol.
salts. Yes.
Mr. McManus, if you can take care of the doctor, I think I can take care of Mr. Kelly.
Dr. Janinski passes out. Peter goes about gathering the items he needs. Kid turns to Peter.
Maybe you could finish what Johnny Spanish didn't.
If he dies, so do you.
Tina sees a bottle on the floor, picks it up. Big Mame watches.
Once you know the rules here, it's hard to play the game.
Tina opens the bottle and drinks as the lights fade. In front of McGurk's.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Epidemic of females killing themselves by drinking carbolic acid. Insides burnt clean out. Another investigation pending. Just 5 cents. Get it while it's hot.
Get out of here! It's bad for business to be hawking those papers outside the alleged crime scene. I said scram!
It pushes Snorky to the ground.
This is my turf. I gotta sell my papers on my turf.
Kelly ain't gonna like this, you little bastard.
Extra, extra, prostitute dies from swallowing.
Are you all right?
Yes, it's all part of a day's work for me. Here comes trouble. You better beat it.
This is the problem?
Hey, Mr. Kelly, you looking good?
Yeah, thank you, Snorky. I'm feeling great. The warm May air and a couple of weeks rest did me some good.
I could sure use a break from work myself.
Yeah, speaking of which, you do know what those headlines are about, right?
Yes, sir. Ladies from McGurk's killing themselves.
Would you be so kind to sell those papers elsewhere?
No, sir, I can't. This is the only place I can work without having to fight someone. If I don't sell my papers, then me and my mom and my brothers don't eat.
You see, kid, Snorky's not only maintaining peace amongst the newsies, he's doing his job.
I can't get a calm game going. The cops, remember? Fix this or I'm going over your head to somebody who will.
I'll take care of it. May I have $2?
I'm almost broke.
Well, as soon as this is cleared up, you can go back to conning the tourists. $2, please.
Kid reluctantly takes out $2.
Jack, would you collect that for me?
Sure thing, boss.
Jack takes Kid's money and punches him a few times. Kid falls to the ground. Jack hands the money over.
Snorky, I'd like to purchase all of your papers.
Wow! That'll be $1.20, please.
Keep the change.
Jack takes the papers into the bar. Snorky exits. Paul takes out a gun and shoves it in Kid's face.
The next time you entertain ideas of going over my head, make sure your personal affairs are in order.
No one gets a break, and we're treated all the same.
Another working girl drinks acid. Inside McGurk's saloon, the walls are covered with semi-nude paintings, newspaper clippings, pictures of boxers and horses. A bar is upstage left. To the left of the bar is a door which leads to the corridor. There are chairs and tables. Izzy plays an upright piano. Emma is seated in the window reading. Cross is seated in another window. Working girls and Johns are going about their daily business.
Hello.
Guten Tag.
Cross joins Emma.
I've seen you every day for a while now, sitting in the window, reading.
And every day you've been sitting in the other window.
Why aren't you working?
Why aren't you in your window instead of mine?
Curiosity.
It killed the cat.
Ah, but satisfaction brought him back.
You're quite sure of yourself, aren't you?
Well, what if I am?
I would say it's all a facade. You are very good looking.
You think I'm good looking.
But if you were everything you thought you were, you wouldn't be here. You would have a job.
True.
And if you had a good job, you would be married. A gainfully employed, upstanding citizen like yourself would want children to carry on his family name.
Right, on all accounts. But I don't see where this is going.
It's going nowhere. I spent a good part of my life taking care of my brother. I will not spend the rest of it taking care of a lazy, arrogant woman chaser with faded looks and a failing liver.
You cut me to the quick!
I want to live my own life and pursue my own dreams. So, please return to your window, and I will return to my book.
The world isn't quite as black and white as in those books.
Excuse me, miss, is there a problem here?
Oh, no problem. I was just going back to my window.
Cross goes to his window. Lena joins him.
That wasn't necessary, but danke sehr.
You're welcome. I'm Jack. I'm the, I work here.
Yes, I know. I've seen you. My name is Fräulein Hartig.
Yeah, I seen you too. Every day looking at books.
It's called reading, Herr Jack.
Yeah, I know, Miss Hartig. I just can't do it.
I can read in 2 languages, mine and yours, yet you cannot read in one. How do you function in life?
I just do what the boss tells me to do.
That's no way to live. Reading makes everything possible. I would venture to say that the man who invented that electric sign outside reads and thinks for himself.
Could you teach me, Miss Hartig?
Of course. How's tomorrow? And please, call me Emma.
Tomorrow it is, Miss Emma.
Jack exits to the back room. A working girl drinks acid as Emma watches.
As the vermin who prowl the streets, we work in the dark of night.
Kid enters from the back room.
Izzy, I have a feeling this meeting is going to take longer than all the time itself. We're going to be needing some more beers.
What has this to do with me?
I got to finish my report to the 5 Point Social and Athletic Club. That leaves you to bring the beers.
I'll not go in there during a meeting. I'm just a piano player.
He does a flourish on the keys.
And songwriter.
And a waiter. So bring the damn beers.
There a problem?
For him, no. For me, yes.
I don't understand. It's beer.
It's not about the beer, my friend. It's about what happens around the beer that disturbs me. Once you know what goes on back there, you can't unknow it.
That is silly. It's just beer. I will take it.
Peter grabs the beer and exits into the back room. A 2-level dance hall. The balcony has a small curtained booths, each with a table and chairs. There's a staircase along the back wall. At the bottom is a secret door. On the lower level, there are small round tables and chairs. The entire gang is here. Peter enters and hands out beer.
For punching, $2. To have both eyes blackened, $4. Breaking the nose and jaw is the best deal at $10.
For $15, I'd chew off ear. Jack, teach me.
If you don't shut up, I'm going to chew off my own damn ear.
Give me that. Shooting in the leg, $15. Stabbing for $25. The list finishes with doing the big job for $100.
And up, depending on the mark.
With these prices, combined with demand, we'll be able to elect a congressman this year. At our next meeting, we'll plan the annual end of June trip for our supporters.
Searching for a meal, longing for the light.
Emma sees a working girl drinking acid. Inside McGurk's, Philip is there, as is Emma.
Go pack your things. We're leaving McGurk's.
Excuse me, might I?
This is not the time. We are busy.
But I only wanted to.
I don't care what you want. Leave us alone.
That was rude. You're working too hard and you need to rest.
No. What we need is to leave this bar.
Peter, with no money, who will take us in?
We found this place. We'll find another. A safe one. You don't understand, Emma.
Calm down. Just breathe. You know how you get.
They're doing illegal things. I want to be a part of it.
This is America. You don't have to be a part of anything if you don't want to. No, please, just calm down and just breathe and try to forget. All the things that make you angry and the things that you've done. Remember all the good in life and this too will turn out wonderful. I have my first student tomorrow. If you want to leave, you leave without me.
You're my sister. I won't leave without you. I won't leave you here alone.
Then go inside and get some air. Life will be wonderful if you stop. Just take a moment and just breathe.
Breathing is impossible when breathing in the stench of the morally corrupt men who labor to entrench. The ones who are less fortunate, the ones who cannot fight for their cause of self-promotion, they leech off the upright. Is this the way it works here? How this country's run? I think I've got a lot to learn. Perhaps I've just begun to understand that's life.
An interior corridor. Kid and Jack enter.
It's that time of the week, ladies. Rent is due.
Kid knocks on Emma's door. She pays him. Kid continues to the other doors to collect.
Hello, Emma.
Hello, Jack. Our usual reading lesson today at 4?
I'm going to be a bit late. I got business to take care of.
I will remember that. I wait.
Emma overhears Kid and blonde Madge.
This week has been slow. I ain't got all the money.
Well, what do you got, blonde Madge?
Almost half.
Almost half? Paul Kelly ain't gonna like that.
Nope, not at all. And that leaves us with no choice
Next week, it's double the normal rent or your ass is out on the street. For now, Madge, I'll be taking the almost half.
Kid grabs the money and exits.
And I'll be taking the other half.
Jack slaps blonde Madge. He pushes her into a room.
Once you know the rules here, it's hard to play the game. No one gets a break, and we're treated all the same. As the vermin who prowl the streets, we walk in the dark of night, searching for a meal, longing for the light. Things are pretty rough here. That's just the price you pay. For women all alone, it's just another day. And the people who run our world honor only cold, hard cash. Only way to live is by renting out our slash.
Blonde Madge drinks acid. The scene shifts to the interior of McGurk's.
Emma, this time in the meeting, I could read stuff.
Congratulations. Only 2 months and you're reading already. I'm proud of you.
Thanks for helping. Since you wouldn't take no money for teaching me, I was wondering if I could take you out to dinner.
Thank you, Jack. I'm spending time with my brother tonight.
Well, what about lunch tomorrow?
Tomorrow I'll be at the library.
I'm going to miss seeing you.
You'll see me every day as I read in the window.
I meant on a kind of personal level, you know, just you and me. How about I escort you on the steamboat trip next week?
I'm not sure that would be a good idea.
Why not?
Well, I am a me, and you are you.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
It means nothing will ever happen between us ever.
Nobody says no to eat 'em up, Jack, and lives to tell about it. Kid, get me a whiskey.
Kid hands Jack a drink. He downs it in one gulp.
And another. Keep 'em coming.
That's the way it works here. That's how these countries run. So you ain't got a lot to learn. Now you've only just begun to understand. To understand. To understand. That's life.
End of excerpt.
Woohoo! Thanks, guys. That was awesome.
So good. And you're right, Evan, very different. Thank you so much, actors. Congratulations, Evan. Do you have any particular questions for this piece?
I don't. I just like to hear what people thought about it. Oh, I do. I would like to know about the passage of time, whether people got that, whether it needed to be clearer about the length of time that has passed.
Absolutely. So we'll start with that question and then we'll move into the rest of our feedback. So Mandy?
I extra listened for it because you brought it up earlier, and I think it's totally clear. The only thing through this form is that because Sandra's playing all of the different working girls, but I think if you see each of them doing it each time, that works. And then those other little nuggets we talked about earlier, like healing from the gunshot wound, the progression of the relationship between Emma and Jack, I think it's really clear.
Benjamin?
Yeah, to answer your question, I did not have some sort of conversation that y'all had earlier, and I also got at least like 2 nuggets of like time change, and realized that she was different working girls at different points. So obviously, you'll be able to do something with staging and costumes and lighting that'll help that. But yeah, good work.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely, of course, in a staging, it would look very different and would, I think, flow very naturally. But I was surprised at how much I was aware of it, even in just a very truncated cast version. I thought it was very nicely done. And as Mandy said, those little threads throughout is what really made it sing for me. No pun intended. So we will move to popcorn moments generally from the piece. We just have a couple of minutes left, but of course, I mean, it's the last piece. We'll let it run a little long. But if anybody had any popcorn moments from this piece, I'll start by saying that I want, what is the exact wording? With reading everything is possible. With reading anything is possible. I want that on my tombstone. That's perfect. Any other popcorn moments, Mandy?
The $2 for $1.20 for all the papers was such a sweet little moment. It was good.
Yeah, I loved that. I second that for sure.
David.
I loved soon we'll be able to buy ourselves is it a congressman or something
Yeah.
like that? That you were glad I was on mute for that.
It sure has Tammany Hall beat, doesn't it?
So in these last couple of minutes, I think we can move on to questions. If there were, I know that we already discussed the time, the time within the play, but were there any other moments where you had a dropout, or if there was any confusion? Were there any moments like that in this selection? Evan, it's all very clear.
Awesome. That's great to hear.
That's what you want to hear. And even further development. So this, again, much like the questions, this is not something that, Evan, you need to have answers for, nor do you need to say whether or not it's going there. But if anybody has thoughts about development or where it's headed. James?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously I've seen the or I've heard the recording, the demo, but now, so my question is it this is more for Evan, is it necessary to say Blonde Madge and Big Mamie? I mean, is it because when I was saying Blonde Madge, is that what people would call her, or they just call her Madge, the people who are in her circle?
They would actually call her Blonde Madge and Big Mamie. These are prostitutes, and they always had a different take on their name. Like there's a prostitute called Pretty Kitty McGowan. That's what she was known as. Just so for those of you who don't know, this is all based on real people and real events. There's only one character in this whole piece that is fictional. Everyone else is real. And all this stuff actually happened, except for the stuff that happens to the one character.
Wow. That definitely puts this in a very different perspective for me.
That is
personally.
shocking.
It's very, very shocking.
I mean, it is and it isn't.
Do we have any other question or any other development thoughts or things about where this piece is going, where you think it could go? Or Mandy?
I was curious, and I know this is probably a direction thing, but could be fun, other little Evan nuggets in the libretto of the dynamics between all of the working girls during the moments of the singing and the progression of time. I was curious, like, where Blonde Madge was and how she interacted with the other girls, or if all of the drinking was supposed to be in isolation. I got really curious about that. Wanting to,
Yeah, all the girls have really distinct personalities, and while it seems at times that they're really confrontational with each other, they actually are the only support system they have.
So I wanted to know, like, when each of them was drinking the acid, where were the other ones? What's the dynamic during these times where they're deciding to drink that? That was my big question.
In the staging, the way I envision it is that the sort of Greek chorus that Sandra so wonderfully played, when they come out and sing the snippets, there would be one particular girl alone, spotlit, drinking the acid as the other girls are singing. Yeah, very isolated.
So it's purposeful. Okay, that makes total sense. And we know all of them by this point too, right? Like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Very good. No, I mean, sad, but.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, Mary Elena.
I was just gonna say, I was just really starting to feel super uncomfortable and anxious about how things were going to end for Emma. That she would definitely be punished for her optimism in every way.
Yes, and that would be the end of Act 1.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, yeah, there are a lot of high highs, low lows. It's such a playful, the way you've written it feels so playful while being such intense subject matter. It's really, which I know of you as a writer to be something that you're very deft at.
Yeah, making the worst things palatable somehow.
Evan Edwards does not shy away. Will not.
Never.
There is one more thing I wanted to say is like, so in the original, because I read the whole thing before, and what makes this really fascinating is that it's extremely ethnically diverse when no one outnumbers anyone else. So it's very mixed. So I think that's cool. One thing you don't really see in this reading, because we're all like, I don't really look like a New York Jew, but you know, the one thing I didn't play in my career. But but yeah, it's really cool that you have so many different races and they're all kind of struggling with the same thing. They're not Asian to be Asian, they just happen to be Asian, which I like, or things like that. So that's, for someone who's of mixed race, that sticks out to me. So
because it's based on real people.
I know. But we've all seen Friends. There are no black people in the coffee shop.
I would love to
He can fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just love that it's a musical, Evan. I think it's so cool. It just reminds me of, like, I don't know, there's like Urinetown in there, there's like Damon Runyon in there. It's got this playfulness as everybody said so far, but I just love the fact that it's a musical. I think it just lends itself to the medium so well.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeps it up while going through an incredible journey so far. I think we should end it there. But thank you so much to the actors. Evan, again, congratulations, fabulous work. The link is still in the YouTube chat and in our chat here for any further feedback or any further thoughts that you have. But with that, we will end out our night. So thank you all for being here with us tonight. Thank you for sharing this wonderful space with us and to giving these writers all this incredible feedback. It's so helpful. And actors, thank you so much for bringing your talent to these pages. It's truly page altering, draft altering. I know from experience, it makes all the difference in the world. So thank you so much for being with us here tonight. And I will just close out by saying a couple of reminders. So as I said at the beginning, we are a 501c3 company, and we are we do a lab twice a month now on Zoom. We are looking forward to 2022 and having things happen in person again. But for the time being, we are on Zoom twice a month with these labs. So if you're a writer or you're an actor and you'd like to be involved, please let us know. There's a sign up available on our website, on our Facebook, on our Instagram. Very easy to find. Other than that, what else? David, is there anything else? What am I missing?
Yeah, so that's all right. So the next acting doodle, Ben can post it.
Yes.
For Lab 52. It's Friday, December 3rd. Same time, hosted by our very own David Michael Kirby. The writers are Kendra Augustin, who Max knows. She's the one who recommended he join us. Jennifer Downs, our hostess with the mostest, and Mara Kelly. Those are the three. It'll be, again, live on our YouTube channel, but done on Zoom.
Unfortunately, I can't be there on Friday the 3rd because I will be singing at Action Play's first ever in-person holiday concert since the pandemic.
Congrats, Ben.
Congratulations.
That's great, Ben.
Ben.
That's a great reason. That's a great reason to not.
We'll
have-
allow
I
it.
know.
We'll allow it.
Because-
I'm going to be singing Frank Sinatra's My Way.
Excellent. Wow.
Wow.
Hey, Ben, would you mind putting up the link for the monthly newsletter so that the people who are new to us, they can sign up for the newsletter, and therefore they'll get the links for writing, for acting, for everything. And you can that comes out twice a month with everything that we're up to, including the participatory links.
Yes.
And I think that's it. Thank you, Jennifer, for doing a phenomenal job, and almost happy birthday again.
Thank you.
And thank you, Ben, for being on top of Zoom the way you always are. You're integral to the process here, and thank you so much. And then thank you to everyone, all the actors, people who have been with us before, and the new people. Please come back.
I'd just like to say that tonight was a good lab. And
It was a good lab,
I'm so
wasn't it?
grateful for all of you for just being present during this unprecedented time and just still being yourselves and just being you and just being present in the moment.
We're grateful for you,
Until we
Ben.
get back in person and we can all celebrate once again.
Yes.
And be merry and bright, you know.
Okay. On
Well,
that
was
note,
a good start.
I think that's a good ending.
It's a great
We're going
ending.
to say good night. Thanks, Ben.
Good night.
And we'll see you all. We'll see you all at the beginning of December. Have a great weekend. Be safe and have a great holiday.